All right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. My name is Aaron Montgomery. And first and foremost, if you are tuned in live right now, go ahead and pop in the comments there. What is your business? Tell us about your business and then let me know how long you've been in business. So today we're going to have a little fun. In fact, I'm going to pop it back up on screen here. We're going to unleash our superhero. We're going to unleash that inner superhero and conquer business challenges. So, what we're talking about here is in this entrepreneurial galaxy that we're in, we have to let our inner superhero out. And as we do that, as we let our inner superhero out, we begin to conquer business challenges. And as we do this, right, we have to be resistant. I have to be aware of the deceptive tactics of the bro marketers, right? Like, here's the deal. Do we really, really honestly need somebody screaming at us to 10x our business? Right? Like, there's enough natural stress that I bring onto myself. So thank you, but no thank you for that. Right. Anyhow, point being is your unique journey is your unique journey. So as you start to unlock this, you're going to see more and more that there is a secret weapon that most folks won't tell you about because it's not easy to package this up and sell it to you. But this thing's so simple, but it's not always easy. As a business owner, you have to take part and be the superhero. And we can't just pay some 10x guru to give us the magic bullet, right? You need to put in the effort. And that's why those get rich quick people never share the secret. All right. So here you go. Here it is. The simple act of working on your business is what will turn you into the superhero of your story. That's it. It's that simple. Simple, but not easy. Now, today, the key points I hope you take away from this is I want to show you that fun is crucial, right? And it's okay to have fun while we're in business, right? We don't have to take it so seriously all the time. We can play with superheroes, we can talk about villains, we can have some fun, right? So in fact, fun is at the core of my book, The Fundamentals of Business Success. So we want to talk about that. Secondly, I want to give you a simple strategy that's going to allow you to better manage your time. One of the biggest things that I hear from business owners is they don't have enough time in their day. So if you do this one simple thing, you will get your time back. I guarantee it. And then lastly, here, I want to share with you the three elements of the fundamentals that are going to include some foundations that all good plans are built on. So if you guys are ready, buckle up, put your superhero suit on, and let's do this. So, first, every superhero story needs a villain. Right. And I've discovered there's some common villains that come from one big boss, and we'll get to that. And actually, at the end of this webinar, there's a quiz that you can take to see who your number one nemesis or villain is. And that quiz will also then give you some specific tips that you can use to conquer that villain. But first, I want to introduce you to the potential villains that you will be battling. Right. Here they are. Right. It's the overwhelm ogre, the undervalue underminer, the procrastination phantom, the distraction dragon. There's a distraction dragon and the perfectionism pirate. Now we're going to dive into each one of these a little more depth here. So let's take that deep dive right now. Let's start with the overwhelm ogre. Right now, the overwhelm ogre will get you to do all of the things on the list here, and at the end, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get the slides and the notes. So you don't have to read each one of these. We don't need to go through each one, but I want to address one of these main areas for each villain that will allow you to start unleashing your inner superhero right now. So let's talk about this part of the overwhelm ogre. Overcommits, right? This is a major contributor to overwhelm because you've just stretched your resources too thin, and it leads to this really unattainable, unsustainable workload. And this will often snowball into other issues like stress, burnout, and ultimately poor decision making because you're just so overwhelmed you can't even make a decision. So, a tip here is to set boundaries and learn to say no. Now, there's several techniques for learning to say no, and we work on all of those techniques in the OSG community, and we develop what's right for you. But an easy go-to technique for saying more no more often is to create an anchor statement, right? This is as simple as having a ready-made response that allows you to delay your answer or decline in a way that's of policy as opposed to my opinion, right? So you're not directly returning down turning down their request. You have a policy, you have an anchor statement, and that lessens the blow for us to say no. So this will also help you maintain some professionalism and protect your time and energy. So let me give you a couple of examples of this. Let's say somebody's asked me to make a commitment that I just can't make a commitment to, but I have a hard time saying no. So maybe one thing I could do is say, well, hey, thank you so much for asking. Let me check my current commitments and get back to you. Right. So now I pause so I can have some reality, go back and go, okay, is this really that important? Or was I just saying yes because they're standing in front of me? Right. Another example of an anchor statement might be, well, our priority, one more time. Our policy is to prioritize current projects. So I won't be able to take this on at the moment. Right. So our policy is that we need to prioritize current projects, meaning my plate's full. I can't take on anything else, but that's an easier way to say that and blame it on a policy, so to speak. Right. Another similar anchor statement might be, hey, thank you so much for the offer and the opportunity. I'm currently focused on, and then just whatever your current priority is. And so I won't be able to commit to that right now. Right. And so, okay, now you're leaving the door open. So should they want to come back to you at a certain point? Right. So that's the overwhelm ogre. Again, I wanted to hit one of the points. We're going to do this with all five. So let's jump into the undervalue underminer. And he gets you to do all of these things on the list here. But what I want to talk to you about is this top one here, engages in negative self-talk. All right. Now, negative self-talk is the foundation of self-doubt, lack of confidence. It limits the potential for growth and success by creating this persistent belief that you're never going to be good enough. So the tip I want to share with you is turn it around, right? You have to be aware of the negative self-talk that comes up in your head, right? Like when you start hearing yourself internally saying things like, Aaron, you're so bad at this. So to turn it around, we need to start developing a radar for that negative narrative, right? Because once we do that, then we can recognize the negative statements that we're making. And once we are repeating those statements in our head and you recognize it, here's the tip to turn it around. Okay, recognized. Oh, I said, Aaron, you're so bad at this. Well, the next statement that needs to come out of my mouth in my brain, the thought that's going on in my brain, and you be intentional with this thought and say, cancel, cancel. Once I say cancel, cancel, then you can counter that negative thought with a positive one. So let me give you another example here. Maybe you're going to catch yourself thinking, well, I'm so bad at this. All right. Well, the second you recognize you're saying in your brain, I'm so bad at this, then you're going to reply with cancel, cancel. I'm developing my skills. Remember the time when, and then look back on a specific achievement. Remember the time when you did your first presentation and you talked over your words, but you got through it. Right. And so you like that achievement, or you could even look back at an actual achievement. Remember the time when you gave that presentation, you got a standing ovation at the end of it. Right. So if you're having that conversation after cancel, cancel, then your subconscious gets used to looking for those things. Oh, I need to look for the achievements. I need to look for the time I overcame something. Right. So you can even finish the conversation that you're having with your subconscious by saying something like, well, thanks for reminding me to be open to learning. Uh, and I'm excited that we're fully capable of doing this well once we learn and grow. Right. And so it's just a matter of over time, you're going to practice this. And the more you practice this, it's going to help retrain your brain, your subconscious part of your brain, to focus on your strengths rather than your perceived weaknesses. So, if you're battling the undervalue underminer, use that tip right there. All right. The next one is the procrastination phantom. And again, we've got a full long list of things that the procrastination phantom might get you to do. And that that the one area that I want to touch on here and give you a tip to take away from today is finds distractions easily. Right. That squirrel, what? Squirrel? Right? Distractions are really a built-in part of the economy, honestly, in the society that we live in. Um, but those distractions can be significant barriers to your productivity. So, as a superhero, you've got to figure out a way to manage the distractions and maintain some momentum. So, what I suggest for you to do is to create a distraction-free work zone. So set a specific time during the day when you're going to eliminate potential distractions. You're going to turn off everything, turn off the internet, turn off your phone, whatever it is that's creating these distractions, notifications, closing unrelated tabs, setting a timer. In fact, what I would recommend is utilizing a technique called the Pomodoro technique. And it's definitely one of my favorite strategies. It's really simple. You basically work for 25 minutes straight. You actually set a timer followed by a 5-minute break. So in that 25 minutes, all the distractions are gone, nothing else going, and you're going to work for 25 minutes straight and then take a 5-minute break. It's crucial that you take that 5-minute break, right? So you've silenced your phone, you've closed the unnecessary apps, and you're focusing solely on one single task. And if you do this repeatedly throughout your day and find those blocks of 30 minutes, right? 25 minutes with a 5-minute break, then that will start to level things out and just let the distractions melt away. All right, the next one here is our distraction dragon. And again, full list of things that the distraction dragon wants you to do. And one of the big ones is it encourages multitasking, right? Oh, well, I'm just going to, there's so many distractions, there's so many things going on. I just have to get good at multitasking, right? But here's the reality: multitasking might seem productive, but no matter how good you think you are at multitasking, it will decrease your productivity. Now, science has proven that no one can actually multitask. What they've shown is that some people are better at task switching, but the fact is, something is still lost in the transition from one focus to another. So, by focusing on one task at a time for the length of time that your available focus is, you're going to get more done. And what you do will be better quality, right? So that's why that Pomodoro technique is so great because, yeah, 25 minutes. We can do 25 minutes, especially if we know there's a 5-minute break coming at the end. We have the willpower to make that happen. Um, and that available focus is something you can improve. So it's like working out, it's like growing a muscle. Being more focused increases what focus is available to you. So what I want to do is I want to encourage you to prioritize single tasking and figuring out what the most important project of the day. So in the book here, Fundamentals of Business Success, on page 299, I talk about a tool I use called the Fundamental Five. And each day you assign 5 tasks to your most important time of the day, right? These are the most important tasks that you have each day. And these are the 5 things you will do everything in your power to work on, right? Then take it one step further and going back to that last step, implement that Pomodoro technique and just in fact go so far as to schedule these things on your calendar and have that be the notification that pops up to remind you to go back to your priority, right? So make those things that you can work on and then take that last 5 minutes to just celebrate and reward any of the efforts that you've put in. All right. So distraction dragon. Now, how about the perfectionism pirate? Right. Again, long list of things that it gets you to do, but we want to focus on fails to celebrate progress. So this was probably the most crucial piece I was missing personally. So I imagine that there's more people like me out there. I was focused solely on what could be improved rather than the progress being made. And what ended up happening is I felt lacking in motivation. I felt burnt out. But my wife fortunately taught me how to celebrate all the wins, no matter the size. And that increased my productivity and it helped me maintain any momentum that I built in the productivity that I was having. So, the tip I would suggest for you is to implement a celebration practice. What I like to do is at the end of the week, just take time to reflect and celebrate your accomplishments, no matter the size. And then share these wins with your team, your significant other, your partner, write them down in a journal. Just take this one step further. And then at the end of the month, compile your top 25 wins and make sure that you're really actively sharing and celebrating with somebody close to you. So, as I mentioned, this was a tool that my wife helped me understand the need to celebrate more often. And so what we do is we write down in our planner the wins for the week, and then we do a little happy dance in our head, right? And then at the end of the month, my wife and I actually get together and we bring our compiled list of the 25 top wins from the month, and we have a standing meeting, right? And so again, this is my wife, so it's a meeting. I'm going to use air quotes for that, but it's a meeting, right? We have a standing meeting that we meet once a week, and once a month during that meeting, we take time to read off our wins to each other, and we actively celebrate, right? So my suggestion to you is to implement your own celebration practice, whatever, however that looks for you. It does not have to be your significant other, but that's always a good place to start, right? It could be a business partner, it could be a team meeting, it could be a good friend. Look to your mastermind group, for example, or other groups for uplifting people. If you go to osg.link/group, I'm sure you'll find somebody in there that's willing to be on your celebration team with you, right? So those are the five main business villains that I've seen that we have to face. But as I mentioned before, there is a big boss, right? So I'm hoping that those challenges and the tips are helpful for you and you're ready to try them out. But what can really make a big difference in getting your time back and feeling clearer about what you need to do next is there's something deeper going on that we need to talk about, right? The real reason these villains are messing with you, and these villains are actually just what you see on the surface. They're not the actual real problem. The real problem is harder to see because it's hiding inside of us, and it's something that messes with how we think and act. And this villain, this big boss here, is the common mindset. Now, it's really keeping us from the fulfillment and the success that as superheroes we can achieve, but the mindset that labels everything as good, bad, right, wrong, this kind of binary thinking is going to lead you to follow the latest trends, come up with ideas without considering whether it truly aligns to your uniqueness. It's just, well, this is how everybody else does it. That's the common mindset. And the common mindset shows up in our everyday lives and businesses as this I have to feeling, that feeling when you have to do things a certain way. Well, oh man, I have to do more on social media. Is that true? I don't know if that's true or not, right? So this I have to feeling that you have to do things a certain way, even if it doesn't really work for you deep down. It's these gurus that are saying you have to be on social media, you have to work with a specific type of people. I've seen this in real life with people I work with. They're being told by somebody that they had to do a certain thing, and yet it's not working. And they're more overwhelmed and frustrated than ever before. And this happens because we want to stay comfortable. We don't want to take the simple action of really digging into what makes us tick and what fulfillment and success actually look like for you. And this kind of stems from our deep seated desire to stay comfortable and avoid any internal challenges, like facing our fears, confronting any shame, or dealing with regret. So think about this: how many of your daily decisions are made because you're afraid, you're ashamed, or maybe you're feeling some regret? I know it's a tough question. So, ponder it for just a moment. But you deserve to know the truth, right? It's important to be honest with yourself here. If we don't start asking different questions and thinking in new ways, we're going to keep struggling, and the big boss and the villains are going to win. Right? They thrive on fear, shame, and regret. Now, I asked you to ask yourself that question about how many of your daily decisions are made because you're afraid, you're ashamed, or you're regretful. But I want you to now imagine what your business, your life, and your daily happiness would look like if you weren't held back by fear, shame, and regret. How would you act differently? I want you to think about it, right? And share your thoughts with somebody. How would you act differently? Now, here's a simple secret that I gave you at the beginning, right? Is we got to work on our business. But this is also another secret that you won't hear in the common mindset narrative. You are the hero, right? The 10x guru is not the hero. I'm not the hero. You are the hero, and you already have the abilities inside of you. You don't need anything that's not already available to you, right? Think about that for a second. I learned that, and it led me to create a structure that I know every great superhero can access to find more power and tools. Now, that structure I call the fundamentals of business success. And yes, fun is not a typo. Fear not, even though there is some effort needed and there will be some hard work at times of digging into, deeper things. Fun is the crucial part, right? When you're in the right mindset, when you're utilizing the fundamentals, you're converting all those have tos into a get to mindset. And that makes our business more fun, more enjoyable, and more effective. Right. So I'm sure you may know about me, but let me just quickly share my role on your journey is all about being a guide. Right. So my name's Aaron Montgomery. I'm the author of the business book, The Foundation of the Fundamentals of Business Success. Right. I'm also a certified New York Times bestselling author. Jack Canfield has certified me as a success principles trainer. And I have nearly 30 years of experience providing essential support to business owners just like you. So feel free to ask me any questions as we go along, and I'll make sure I get to them definitely by the end in the Q&A. But if you'd like to schedule a call with me and just discuss your specific business situation, go to that link at the bottom, osg.link/thank you, right? Fill out just a little bit of information and then sign up for a free consulting session. And I just want to thank you for your time to check this out. And that's my way of giving back is let's have that conversation. Let's talk about what your specific challenges are so we can bring your uniqueness back into your business. Now, who is our best hero, right? At our success group, we want to be the guides for people, but we know that there's a certain type of person that we need to work with. And these are the superheroes that we can guide to their idea of success. So to overcome the villains using our structure, you need to resonate with these descriptors. And if you don't, then our guidance might not be what you're looking for. And I don't want to waste any more of your precious time. So if this feels like you, or if this seems like something you're willing to take on and look at, then keep tuning in here. First, we're looking for proactive learners, meaning you are open to new ways of thinking, this uncommon mindset. You're willing to try them out, even if it seems a little out there at first. You're focused on long-term growth rather than quick fixes. All right, that's a proactive learner. An investor in growth, you understand the value of investing in yourself and your business. And that value is based on the investment of your time, your energy, and sometimes your money. And your actions are going to show what you truly value, right? So cost does not factor into your decision-making process if you're an investor in growth. And then last but not least, you're an accountable action taker. Accountability, right? It's not to say that things won't happen or the cards you're dealt are not going to be a challenge, but you understand that when you blame, when you make excuses based on something outside of your control, you're actually giving your power away. You know that your power lies in the thoughts and actions and beliefs that you have. So you instead choose to focus on solutions, taking actions, action taker, right? And trying new things that is going to let that momentum drive you. This is the big one, right? You take full responsibility for your actions and your circumstances. So if these sound like you, or who you're willing to strive to be, you're in the right place, and this training can certainly help you out. Now, I mentioned fun is a point I want to get across, right? So this idea is something that I had, and I was able to verify how important this was through some research. And what really stood out in his book, The Virgin Way, Everything I Know About Leadership, Sir Richard Branson said, fun is one of the most important and underrated ingredients in any successful venture. Now, the villains want to steal that fun from you. Right? That's their goal. Being stressed, no fun. Being overwhelmed, no fun. Feeling behind is no fun. Feeling worthless is no fun. But I'm here to tell you that business can be fun when you choose to make it fun. George Bernard Shaw said this. He says, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. So I want you to think back on all your most significant memories of when you felt successful, right? Think about that, envision it for a moment, and realize there was an element of fun in it, right? At least I know that's the case for me. Every time I've gained some success, I've had victories, celebrated achievements, that's a lot of fun, right? And I believe that flow of energy is ultimately what the villains want to steal, but that flow of energy is what we need to be successful. So the counterintuitive idea that I subscribe to is that when we have more fun and we love what we get to do, we will have more success. Now, As the hero, it is on you to make that choice to have more fun. My job as the guide is to guide you to a structure where you can conquer these villains. And the first part of the structure is noticing that fun can also be an acronym. Fun stands for fulfillment. Love what you get to do, right? So think about that. When was the last time you felt that when you started your day? You popped out of bed and like, I can't wait to go do what I get to do today, right? So we want to change to that. The structure ahead is really designed to give you that opportunity to change your mindset and your perspective so you can fall back in love with your business. The U stands for uncommon mindset. Right? This is ultimately what we've been talking about is just thinking differently, asking more why questions, right? So if somebody tells you something and they say, "Oh, that sounds great, but why?" Right? Or you have that internal voice that says that you're not worthy. Well, why? Right? Or somebody says, "Well, you should be on TikTok." Okay, why? Right? So Einstein famously said this. He said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." Right. So it's time to get away from the common mindset, like this whole hustle and grind mentality, this need for instant gratification, this focusing exclusively on money, or even things like working for the weekend, right? Those are all the common mindset. We need to get away from that. And then the N stands for nurturing relationships. Success is a team sport. So I want you to find mentors, find accountability partners, find mastermind groups, or other successful people. Your business is only going to be as successful as the people you surround yourself with. So the free Facebook group where everyone is complaining all the time, probably not the relationship you need to nurture. The 10x bro marketer who's screaming at you to work harder, don't think that's a relationship that you need to nurture. And honestly, I doubt they want to nurture that relationship. They don't have time. They're too busy 10xing to build any relationships, right? You're looking for the heart-centered guides. I believe that's me, right? And there's lots of other people like me. So me or someone like me, we've got the Masters of Success community that you can be a part of. We have in-person events where you can build deep, lasting relationships. So fulfillment, uncommon mindset, nurturing relationships. So that's fun, right? That was the first point I wanted to make. Now, the other thing I promised is I would give you a simple way to get your time back. And the simple act of working on your business can do this for you. It will get your time back. But most of us think that we have a time management problem, right? But even though you're a superhero, you still have the same 24 hours in the day that the rest of us do. So if you are overwhelmed, you actually have a priority management problem. Think about this. How many ideas have you had that you went and chased the shiny object and it ended up being a waste of time today, right? Maybe. Hey, this is part of it, but we just have to remember and come back. So here's another one. How about the constant people pleasing? Is it really getting you anywhere except to an empty tank? Right. So to get your time back, here's a requirement. You must always come back to this. You need to make the most important thing the most important thing. So the effort you need to put in, right? I said that superheroes have to participate in their own success, is you need to clarify with detail and certainty what the most important thing is. What's going to allow you to reach some point in the future? Maybe that's at the end of this year. Maybe that's 5 years from now, some point in the future. And then to look back on this time and say, man, I'm really proud of that. Right? I am successful. Right? Do you have a very clear and specific goal? Right? Is that goal aligned with your reason for starting your business? Or here's another question: what is your reason? Right? So feel free to share that if you have it. If you need help with that, feel free to reach out to me. Right? You can reach out at any point and we can talk about those specific things. So to get your time back, make the most important thing the most important thing, because like I said, you have a priority management problem, not a time management problem. So, all right. So that's time. Now, let's get into the structure of fundamental success. And you might look at this as your weapon to combat the villains out there. And this tool, this weapon, this structure comes in the form of a cycle of thinking. Now, the fundamentals are all about working on your business from three very distinct cycles or phases. So this first phase is what I call the plant phase. Some people might think of this as the mindset. And does start with giving up blaming, complaining, excuse making. It includes clarifying your reason, or what some people might call your why, and then ultimately reigniting your self trust, converting this notion of fake it till you make it into believe it until you achieve it. Right. So that's the first part of the structure. We have to kind of get our mindset right. The second part of the structure or the cycle here is what I call the prepare phase. This is the planning or the preparation phase. This is where we're designing our business based on what we need and our uniqueness, not what somebody else tells us to do. So we're going to dive deeper into this part in just a moment. So I'm going to keep moving here. This third part of the cycle I call the pollinate phase. And this is the take action phase. This is, in spite of any fear, you're going to take some action, right? But we want to make sure that this is productive action. You want to surround yourself with a success team. You want to crave feedback so you can make adjustments. And you want to be developing and implementing new habits. Now, as I said, this is a cycle, and it's important to understand that all three of these are required and to look at the fundamentals not as a checklist, but rather as a cycle. So I personally like to make sure that I practice with each weapon or structure daily. So let me give you an example. I started today with some prayer and some meditation, followed by a review of my goals as affirmations, right? So I got the mindset right. Make sure I was focused on the most important thing, making the most important thing the most important thing. Then I spent a little time this morning updating one of the processes in my business, which was part of the prepare phase. I wanted to make sure that it was aligned with who I am and who the ideal customers are that I serve. And so I tweaked a little bit of the process. And now I'm taking action, right? I'm sharing this presentation and I will be asking for feedback at the end. So just look at this as a cycle. Now, I said that we would talk more about the prepare phase here. And I want you to think about inside that cycle, this section of the fundamentals really makes up what I believe are the key elements of a good plan. This can be your business plan, a plan of action, or really whatever you're preparing for if you actually look at these things. But a lot of times people will look at this as a business plan. And if you document these 5 areas, you're going to have a great chance for success. So the first area is goals. We have to become a goal getter. This is about setting clear, specific, and measurable goals. And they do need to be specific, and you have to believe they're possible. And you do that by putting some milestones in as stepping stones. So that's the first part of your prepare phase, is make sure that you know what the goal is. Secondly, we need to define the relationships. Business is all about people. And so building strong relationships is going to be a key. So I like to make sure that I'm actually planning for that. What types of people do I need inside of my business or around me, or mentors, or whatever? If I have a little bit of a plan, then I know where to go and look for those types of people. And then next is marketing. And this is not the marketing that we think of as like a social media post or that. This is the essential part of marketing. And this is things like defining your brand, understanding who your ideal customer is, your target market, some people might call that, and then determining what product mix matches up to your brand and your ideal customers. And that ultimately becomes your marketing plan, right? And then from there, now we can figure out the tactics and the strategies to use. But until we have the marketing groundwork planned, we can't get that done. And then the next part of your plan should include the numbers game. And I get it that we're not all numbers people. We don't all love sitting in front of a spreadsheet, or we're not all accountants here. But regardless of that, there are some key numbers that as a business owner, you have to be aware of and you have to be willing to look at and manage. And honestly, if we don't, we're not going to be profitable and we'll probably end up not being successful. So we need to understand our costs. We need to develop a pricing strategy that's right for us, not just go ask on Facebook or try to be lower than your competitor, right? You need a pricing strategy. And that pricing strategy includes, how do you share your perceived value with your customers? And then last but not least, you need to understand and manage your time. Yes, that's a number, right? So do you have a plan? How are you going to allocate the 24 hours that you have, right? Maybe you've got a day job. And so now you've given away, 40 of those hours a week to somebody else. So now you've only got 128 hours left in the week, right? And that's okay, but you have to understand that and you have to manage that time. And then last but not least in the plan here is we need to have systematic processes. And these processes will help you save time and also improve your bottom line. And so they need to include any working in your business process you do, production or otherwise. So maybe just like reaching out to customers, or replying to customer emails or something along those lines, right? I'm not saying we have to have a process for every single thing right away, but the more you work and build these processes, the better off your business is going to be. So, what's your biggest bottleneck? Look at the process, create the process that works, refine it, and then make it better, and then move on to the next bottleneck. Right now, the crucial step that all good superheroes take to really put the villains in their place is to move quickly from the preparation or planning phase into the action phase. Now, I think we've done pretty good here and we've got some time left. So I want to give you just a little bit of extra here. All right. Now, I know some might think that taking action is taking action, but I know you're all different types of superheroes who understand that there's nuances to things. So I want you to listen up, superheroes. This is so simple that you could miss it. So practice it until this becomes second nature for you. This is the tool that will drive action, build momentum, and is crucial for you to implement to take down the villains. All right. And I call it the art of success. And there are 5 phases to this art of success. So we just came out of number one, the planning phase. So that was step one, right? Next, still pretty straightforward here. Take the action. But here's the deal, do something, anything you believe is going to get you closer to your goal, and take any action. Doesn't have to be the right action, doesn't have to be the perfect action. Any action that you believe will get you closer to your goal. The most basic action that you can bring yourself to take, that's the next step, right? Then once you've done that, now, excuse me, now we need to experience the results, right? And when we experience the results, we have to take in the most recent action without any judgment, because we get no value out of the action if you don't experience the result. And both good and bad, right? So we have to let go of those labels because we can't experience it. If we've labeled it bad, we're just going to avoid it, right? So just take it in. And this allows you to get a clear picture of what worked and what didn't work. And then next, you need to look at the previous phase, right? If you did the experiencing the results, then you can get value from learning as feedback, right? Analysts analyzing and learning, easy for me to say, right? So we need to learn from anything that didn't go our way, and then amplify anything that didn't, or that did work as planned, right? So anything that didn't go our way, okay, let's learn from that and then let it go. Oh, that did work. Cool. How do I do more of that? Right? Amplify that. That's key. And then last, we just need to keep the flywheel going. You take the next action, right? Don't let the results dictate your momentum. You want to start with very high intentions of the desired result, but leave with very low attachment to the outcome. And the other amazing result that comes from taking all this action is they become small marginal gains. And it's those slight actions that are extremely powerful for us. They work just like compound interest does. The slight actions build up over time. Now, with this art of success, you're rolling, you've got this momentum. How do we keep this going? And I mentioned marginal gains. So the final part of the structure are those small gains. And again, I call them marginal gains for a reason. But let me tell you this story. Have you ever been in a large building, like maybe a large warehouse that has motion sensing lights in it? Um, I've had that experience, right? I was in this big warehouse. I was all alone. It was the middle of the night. I was there working late, and I had to go back into the warehouse. And where I'm standing, there's light, but right in front of me is darkness. Okay. So the only way to get that next light to come on is I have to stick my foot into the darkness. Right. So I have to take that small step. But when I take that small step, now it's illuminated the next section. Right. So that's the idea here of these marginal gains. Taking these small actions, it's going to illuminate the path for you. So the three elements with the fundamentals. So we talked about the three elements, and inside those three elements, there are 13 fundamentals that you'll find in the book right here. And those fundamentals will send you on a path. All right. So let's look at path as an acronym. You guys know that I love a good acronym as a double meaning, and path is the same. So the P in path stands for purpose, right? Keep your eyes forward, use your purpose as a guardrail. Remember, you were put on this earth to do a certain thing. Your business needs to reflect that. So you've got one purpose, focus on it, and take your actions based on that. The A in path stands for actions. right? This is that structure that we talked about: the plant, mindset, prepare, plan, the pollinate. Those three structures there, those three opportunities are opportunities to take action. So we need to take action. So purposeful action. The T stands for tenacity, right? And really tenacity from these 13 fundamentals. The idea of tenacity is all about focusing on the process, not the results, right? The results will actually come after you let go of the results and start building your process. So be tenacious about those 13 fundamentals. And then the H stands for habit, right? And habit meaning take a daily action. This isn't just take an action once a week, every so often. Make it a habit. What's something that you can do every day? And the number 30 there is there because I'm only asking you for 30 minutes a day, right? 30 minutes of working on your business. If you'll spend 30 minutes a day doing a working on part of your business, you will make significant strides. And that 30 minutes a day is going to get you back so much time at the end that it's worth adding that in each and every day. So that is the entirety of what I've got for you. That's the how to unleash your inner superhero, right? Make sure that you got fun, make the most important thing the most important thing, and then here's the structure that's going to allow that to be easy for you to manage day in and day out. Now, if you'd like to learn more about that structure, certainly reach out to me. Or if you want to go take the superhero quiz, who is your nemesis? Go to oursuccessgroup.com/quiz. Now, um, you're going to get deeper details about the villains as well as some tips to take them down. There's going to be some follow-up emails that'll give you even more tips. And you will be added to our email list, and that'll get you more motivational details and tools that will maximize your fulfillment by achieving your goal. So I highly encourage you to go over to oursuccessgroup.com/quiz and check that out. And then if you really think that this could be good for you and you find yourself wanting to have a more fulfilled business, I do want to extend this special opportunity for you guys. Um, the Fundamentals Live. This is an exclusive 3-day business clarity experience right here in O'Fallon, Missouri. It's happening October 10th to the 12th. And this is not just another workshop. This is somewhere where you're going to gain the tools, the strategies, and clarity to change your mindset from have to and to get to. So you're going to walk away with a blueprint that's going to make your business not just successful, but deeply fulfilling. Now, so during the 3 days, we're gonna help and guide you through purpose clarification. We're gonna give you some tools to overcome those limiting beliefs. We're going to help you set realistic and achievable goals that's going to stretch you and align with your overall vision. We're going to help you with the personal growth so you can expand your mindset. We're going to also work with the wellness and work life balance and how to balance your passion with your life. And there's going to be plenty of valuable networking opportunities. And so we're limiting this experience to just 10 seats. And if you want to check it out, if you'll go to osg.link/fun live, we actually still have a promotion going on right now that if you go there and sign up, name your price. I believe that this is something that is going to help so many people that I don't really care about the money. I'm letting go of the results, right? Because I know you're going to get the results and it will all work out in the long run. A mentor of mine once told me you can't outgive the universe. So this is something I want to give to you guys and have an opportunity for you to learn and grow and be more fulfilled in your business. And then if you'd like to take that one more step further and really just kind of get deeper into having a conversation, building a relationship with me so we can figure out how to build a business that you love. All you got to do is go to osg.link/thank you, and we'll have a collaboration call, right? This might look like consulting. This might be what somebody charges for consulting, but I want to just give this to you as an opportunity. I believe that every small business owner needs to have that opportunity to say, why am I doing this? And once I give you that opportunity to say why I'm doing this, then we can figure out if there's a way that I can help you, or I can point you to somebody else that can help you, or whatever. But small businesses are the backbone of what our US economy is built on. And so it's my responsibility to go out there and make sure that you're falling deeper in love with your business. So osg.link/thank you. Go fill out a little bit of information there, and then let's plan a meeting together. So that is what I have for you guys today. I appreciate you tuning in, and we will talk to everybody again very soon.